I want to touch on rep basketball, AAU basketball right now, just because I feel like we're in the peak of AAU basketball because it's just such at a big height, especially in Canada. Like it's just one of the biggest parts of how players develop. Guys are playing tournaments from, let's say, like 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, all the way up until they're 17, 18. Uh,
Mhm.
and I know that AAU gets a lot of criticism because of a lot of people say, it runs the kids to the ground. It's not good for developing their game. They focus more on, on the playing aspect versus actually teaching the skill. There's so many different like arguments for why I guess it's not necessarily the right path to go. But what do you have to say about that as an AAU coach yourself?
Um, Playing is everything, man. I mean, we could be in the gym for hours with kids doing drills and doing skills, but if they don't know how to apply it in the game, it's irrelevant. I mean, I've seen it multiple times again and again where kids look really good in practices and they look really good in training, and then when game comes and you're now have to operate within the four squares or the four corners, and there's two refs with wearing the black and white with a whistle,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a different game for them, and that's also because of their mental. That's also because of their physical endurance and their mental endurance. So that those things kind of come into a huge aspect of their peak performance within games.
Right.
Um, I know myself, I coach grade 12, or not grade 12, I coach 12-year-olds. So right now we're going to a phase where we took the time to kind of talk about their mental stability and how important it is for them to have mental endurance and mental strength for them to have peak performances. As much as they could be in the gym, putting up hundreds of shots a day, working on their handle every single day, if their mental is not matching their physical, it's irrelevant. Like they have to make sure that they're understanding of how, what makes them perform at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that they need to do to make sure that they have that consistent effort moving forward throughout every game. And it's at that age, it's hard to be consistent. You don't really learn about being consistent until you become a post-secondary basketball player, really and truly. Because when you're playing high school, when you're playing rep, the focus is just playing.
Mm-hmm.
But with what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to give them that aspect early so that parents understand that and the kids understand that, and they can start implementing that from the jump. So little things like what they eat, when they had a good game, what did they do that day? So they record it and make sure that they stick with those type of things moving forward, and finding little routines that they could have to make sure that their performances are consistent and that they're at high levels. And obviously, you need to train. Training is important. I tell the parents all the time. I tell the kids all the time. They need to be in the gym if they want to like really pursue basketball, and they have the platform now where basketball is expanding. They need to make sure that they're putting in the time and effort. Don't be sitting around at home playing video games. Take 2 hours a day. Break it up even if you want. Hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon, whatever the case might be, and do something for your game. Whether it might not always be physical. You could just even be reading up on biographies from basketball players, what they do to make sure that, but anything to help you kind of put yourself in that mindset, in that mind frame where you're able to understand the importance of basketball and what it could do for you moving forward and how you could perform at a consistent level.
Right.
So AAU is, I love AAU because it kind of, it builds character. They get to play a lot of basketball within a small fragment of time against high competitive players. And that to me is really good because players need that. Their body needs to understand that and make that adjustment. And then also they need to understand that, it's a real grind in the summer. Like playing basketball, summer basketball, AAU basketball is completely different than playing season from fall to spring. It's different. Like we're only together for about 3 months. You play about 5 tournaments. There's only about 10 weeks in a summer.
Right.
8 weeks for those kids that are in elementary, high school. So you're playing everything within a small group of time. Your body's going to get worn out. Basketball, between games, between training, between whatever else you might do, if your kids go to summer camp, if they do any different activities, your body's going to be shut down, and you have to understand how to make sure your body stay at the most consistent level as possible. So it's good. I think it's good.
I like an element that you brought into that, which is the mental aspect of the game.
Yeah.
I think that's such an interesting part to add into it because if I think back to what I kind of lacked when I was playing basketball was when I was, and I had a coach actually tell me this. He said that you're very, very good in practice. You're elite in practice. But when it translates to the actual game, everything that you learn goes out the window. You just throw it out the window. And I think that is the mental aspect of it. I wasn't prepared, whether it was I was nervous or whatever, right? That was something that I missed, right? I think that is a huge, huge part to implement into a player's game. That's crucial, man. And like to be able to put it into a 12-year-old, 13-year-old to realize it, that's so important. That's crucial.